How many axles do you need for one car project? Well, let's count them out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So at this point, it's pretty clear to me that I let the project get away from me. The plan was just to put another stock 53-inch wide CJ axle in to complement my rear Datsun axle. And then it went to, well, I'll put this Dana 44 in the front. And, well, hey, if I got this Dana 44 in the front, then I'll put this Dana 44 in the back. But now I got this Dana 44 and they're 65 inches wide in the front and 60 inches wide in the back. And that's just too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 65 one and I'm cut it down to 53 inches. And I'll do the same for the back. There will be 53, 53. But because I wanted to match that 3.75 gearing, I decided to go to 4.27. But then when I was doing 4.27 gears, it's like, 4.27 and 3.75, whatever. I'll just do the two Danas and then it'll be lovely. And right around this point, I realized that my Datsun engine was not going to work. So I didn't really want to re-gear it, so I'm just going to have the 4.27s, whatever. 4.27 Dana 44s, front and rear, except I can't, just for my sheer mechanical ability and the space in the front, so whoopsie daisies. But I can still save that Datsun H190 axle to the rescue. Here it comes. So now I got the Datsun H190 axle, and I could use that, but it's still got that 4.375, which is too high for my diesel. But the H190 is pretty much everywhere. It's in all kinds of Datsun, Nissan stuff, and the Datsun 720 has a 373 gas sipper one. So I could take the Datsun 720 373 and throw it in my H190 axle. And so I could put the 373 in there, and now I have a much more common axle ratio, and that'll give me a lot more options in the front. And if I want a passenger side drop 373 53-inch wide axle, what better to use than a Samurai? So all I got to do is find a Samurai. But, I don't really want a Samurai because I want a Toyota. The Samurai axle is nice, but they're known to be junk. They're kind of weak, little on the weak side, and they have 5 lugs. And I've got 6 lugs, and I've already got my wheels picked out and everything, but whatever. The Toyota people, I go on Facebook Marketplace, take a little look-see, and those same 3 clowns are still selling their straight axles for $1,000. Anyway, they can get pumped. So I'll just find myself a Samurai axle. They got 373 gears stock. Nobody likes the 373 gears because they're too low. So now at this point, I just got to find myself some 5-lug wheels. All right, that's fine. Pop open the trusty old Facebook Marketplace. Hey, Goober, guess what you would like? Would you like some Toyota axles? Oh, yes. 2 Toyota axles, $500. How does that sound? It sounds expensive. So I really want these Toyota axles, and I think to myself, well, if Uncle's got the 2 for sale for $500, then maybe he'll sell just the one front one to me for $250, and then it'll all be in budget, right? But I hear you say, hey, well, wait a minute. The Toyota axles, if you know anything about them, they've got at the very minimum a 410, and from there it just goes up. It might even be like a 488. Who knows? But lucky for me, they did make 373 axle ratios, and these are intended for the TDIs, which is a very common swap, and I'm doing such a swap. So, great, beautiful. I tootle on over to Uncle's house, and I hit him up. $250 for that straight axle. Won't have it. He will sell me, however, both of them for $300. Whatever. Okay, so there we go. Load them up, $300 away, and then here we go. Now we got 2 more axles, and they're back, and that's the situation we find ourselves in. And let's see exactly what that $300 got me for my Toyota front axle. So what do we have here? Let's see if after all that fuss, all that worry, and all that money, what did I end up with? Because this looks like quite a mess. Well, this is a Toyota axle from a pickup truck back when Toyota pickups had straight axles. It's 55.5 inches wide, wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface. It is 6 lug, just like our Datsun. And you can date them with this large truss means this was neither an 84 or an 85. Anyway, that's the easy stuff. Let's do a little bit more surgery to figure out what we got here specifically. So it looks like it's got a high steer kit on it. I don't know my Toyota stuff. Basically what I'd mentioned before was about all I know about it. It's got a high steer kit. And the previous owner told me that this was in an S10 Blazer. An S10 Blazer, and I'm judging by the fact that it's painted yellow that this was a mud truck. It's got this big cutoff here and here where a hydraulic ram was cut off. So this used to be a hydraulic steer. Like I said, it has this not quite high steer. They bothered to put it up there and they put it back down. I don't recognize this by brand, but I don't know my Toyota stuff, and I have a feeling this is pretty old. Also, it looks like they cut off these spring perches and re-welded them. I mean, that's not a Toyota weld. That's pretty garbage.
So they re-welded these spring perches, and it looks like it's got a pretty brutal pinion angle. I'd be really curious to see what that shakes out into being. But those are all the modifications as far as I can tell. I'm hoping because this was in a gas car that it's got a 4:10 ratio, because that'd be a little bit more usable if I have to use it. I'm hoping to put some aftermarket 373s in here, but we'll have to take a look at that. So what kind of state is this bad boy in? Well, it can still steer, but I think it'll have to be pretty hosed to do that. I did check the rear one back when I was buying the thing, and it looks like the rear is welded. And just what I've seen here with this paint job, with these spring perches and all that stuff, I wouldn't be too surprised if this one is welded too. Supposedly this has got a broken Burfield, so those are like the CV axles that they got in these things instead of the U-joints. So we'll see. These look like stock lockers, I would think so. It says Eisen on them. I don't actually know if that's any good or not, but it is what it is. All right, let's spin that. It's locked. Well, I mean, either it has an open diff or this is our broken Burfield. But it does spin, so that's nice. It's not too roached. It's a little crispy, but, you know, not too bad. And hey, that much brake pad, that'll pass inspection. All right, let's take a load of this one. Oh, that's spinning. If this was an open differential, it would just go spin the other side. So either it's got a locker, yay, or it's welded, boo. Which is unfortunate. I was hoping to have at least one open diff between the two of these that can be reused, but no matter. It's the way it is. It's the hand we've been dealt. So once again, getting what I paid for. It looks like this thing is sealed with RTV copper. So, you know, once again, our workmanship seems to be consistent through this entire thing, which is to say it's crap. And again, if somebody was in here, they might have changed gears. I feel like they definitely welded it. But let's see what ratio we got. Okay, so I got a mark here and a mark over here on our rotor. Let's see what kind of ratio we got. I don't know if this is normal, but like this is the amount of play I have between when the gear starts like biting. That seems like a lot. That's like 20 inches. That's like 20 degrees. That's way more than 20 degrees. What's that? This is like coming up on 45 degrees of slop in there, which seems like a ton. Anyway, I marked it, so this is the end of our slop, and now we're actually going to start moving. All right, and we're going to count how many times it takes to roll this over once. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now all the Toyota ratios are above this stock. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's not going to be a 410. Okay, let's keep going until this goes there. All right, there we go. We're lined up, and we didn't quite get another spin out of it, so this is probably a 4.88 ring and pinion in here. It's not what I want, but at least it's so not what I want that I don't have to worry about it. It just can't be used at all. Okay, so now we know that, and again, with this kind of slop, I don't know how I'd feel about just reusing that as is anyway. So I'm just curious what kind of pinion angle this is. I got it sitting here, my little angle finder zeroed out on the spring perch mount. Let's see what that amounts to over here. 38, wow, almost 40 degrees of pinion angle. That's rough. Like I said, this was definitely a mud truck. Probably had some brutal springs on it. All right, let's bring it on over here. The pinion angle is not nearly as important to me as the caster. So do we have anything flat to get this on? 1 degree. Functionally no caster from where we're sitting. This isn't very flat. Yeah, I'm gonna say functionally no caster. And caster is pretty important to not catch the big time death wobble. So yeah, this was a mud truck to the max. Either that or they never topped over 30 miles an hour. Oh boy. we got our work cut out for us. So another thing is our previous custom axle, we had it at like 26.5 inches from the middle of the spring perch to the middle of the spring perch, and this one is 29. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of work. Anyway, so there is our new Toyota straight axle that we're gonna be continuing the Datsun project with, and the die has been cast. I'll either be able to make do with what I got here, or I simply won't, because, well, let's face it, with all those axles, there's plenty here. But in that case, that's what we're working with. I think first things first, I'm gonna get this thing on some tires and under the car, and from there I'll be able to figure out how badly this caster needs correcting, and we'll go from there. But I think this is a step in the right direction, and this is exactly what I need, and frankly, it's exactly what I paid for. Next time we'll actually be doing some stuff, productive stuff. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one. Shoots!